Warning: the following video contains images of Infamous, Infamous 2, Infamous Festival of Blood, and Infamous Second Son. Hello everyone, Domino Pivot here for Great Game But, where we take a look at video games that are great, but certainly not perfect. After shedding some salt about Ratchet & Clank PS4 in the last episode, I thought I should cool off by talking about games I actually like despite their flaws. That is why today we're taking a look at Infamous. I love the Infamous series. If you haven't had a chance to play those, go try them out. I'll admit the first one aged poorly and has terrible graphics even by PS3 standards, but if you can cope with that, you can actually start with Infamous 2 and it won't matter too much. The writers did a pretty good job at not spoiling the previous titles, same for Second Son, which is a standalone story with new characters and revised gameplay. The flaws I want to talk about have much to do with the karma system in those games, which is tied to the story and the way skills are unlocked. For this reason, I'll go over the games in chronological order. That should let you stop watching if you really don't want to know anything about the games you haven't played yet. Infamous takes place in the fictional Empire City, set somewhere around New York. Following a terrorist attack that destroyed part of the historical district and the spread of a mysterious illness, the US government put the whole city under quarantine. Misery and despair lead to anarchy as criminal factions fight for control of the limited resources. You play as Cole McGrath, a courier who, unbeknownst to him, was hired to deliver the explosives that started this chain of events. After waking up in the middle of Ground Zero, Cole finds himself gifted with supernatural powers, such as fast healing and the ability to shoot lightning bolts out of his fingers. He must now use his new skills to survive in a dangerous city filled with people who want him dead. This already sounds like a great setting, but if anyone told you about Infamous, chances are they mentioned the game's selling gimmick. Infamous is stylized with lowercase in and capitalized famous to draw attention to the fact that you can choose whether you want to be revered or feared. On the top left of the screen, you can see the karma meter, which indicates your current social standing. As you progress in the story, you'll be asked time after time to choose between a selfless and a selfish action. None of these decisions will have an impact on the story per se, but they will add up to form your reputation as a hero or as a villain. Killing innocent bystanders will lower your karma. You have to show restraint and be precise if you want to be considered a hero. You'd think this would make the game much easier to play as a reckless villain. This is where the people at Sucker Punch were smart. If your karma is positive, being precise will give you bonus energy, so you don't have to drain electricity sources as often. This acts as a form of compensation for the fact that you have to be precise to be a hero. Meanwhile, headshots will cause explosions and collateral damage if your karma is negative. The game manages to be balanced by giving you an incentive for precision on both sides. This karma system sounds like an interesting idea, and Infamous isn't the only game using it. Sadly, the decisions you make lose their weight the moment you realize the system is purely binary and punishes neutrality. Since the better powers are only available to true heroes or monsters, there's little room for nuances. The game is more enjoyable if you pick a path and stick to it to the end. I would have played differently if I had known from the start. Getting far into the game without having access to the stronger abilities made things too difficult, and I ended up restarting to play as a full-time hero and make my life easier. I waited a few years before going back to the game, and when I tried the evil route, I went all in. No longer would I try to be moderate. This evil route was that of a sadist, and I embraced it. I attacked civilians who barely got in my way, I sucked the energy out of enemies lying on the ground, I made cars explode for fun as people ran away screaming. It was liberating. By the time I finished the game, it was clear that Good Cole and Evil Cole were two different characters. While the mood of the game will be quite different based on which reputation you're going for, the events are the same for the most part. Yet I believe both the good and evil versions of the story are worthwhile despite their similarities. Or, if anything, because of the similarities. But when I started Infamous 2, something felt off. In Infamous 2, you're no longer trying to save or take control of a city under quarantine. This time, you're fending off a monster invasion and an anti-mutant militia while training to beat a powerful creature that might destroy the whole planet. Yet the game offers you opportunities to raise or reduce your karma through random events. You can beat up street artists to stop them from bothering you. You can kill cops, you can trigger explosives just for fun to watch people die. But there lies the issue. These activities all seem purely evil for the sake of evil. This creates a disconnect between the character you're controlling and the one you see in the cutscenes, who after all is trying to save the world, or at least save himself and probably the rest of the world in the process. I also had an issue with the ending. I won't spoil it, no worries, but there's a plot twist that makes both endings very different and very interesting. However, with the way I had been playing, I just didn't feel like the supposedly evil ending was the one my character would pick. The evil Cole I was playing as was kind of a dick, but he would have picked the other option in the end, I thought. But the game wouldn't let me. If I wanted to get the good ending, I had to work my karma all the way back to the blue side. And since I was almost done with the side missions, I had very little things to do in order to get my karma back up other than spend countless hours healing the sick and injured people or saving hostages here and there. It was tedious and boring, but I did it. I believe the ending the game creators call the evil one is the thing I would have done in real life. When I played the game as a hero and went for it, it was even more annoying having to run around the streets and kill civilians until my karma got in the red. It made no sense, my Cole was a hero after all. I think the developers should have let you pick the ending you wanted, regardless of karma. Perhaps with small adjustments to compensate for it. I don't have much to say about Infamous Festival of Blood. It's a nice vampire-themed spin-off. It's too short for what it was sold at, so I waited for it to be on sale and I enjoyed it. I never got Infamous First Light, which is a prequel to Second Son, for similar reasons. I just didn't feel like spending the money. Infamous Second Son doesn't fix all the issues with the karma system, but at least it no longer tries to pretend you're constantly making choices. The karma meter is gone, and instead you see a progress bar until the next karmic level. You no longer spend experience points to unlock abilities, and instead have to find shards. Taking back control of a district gives you a few free shards and adds the position of all shards in the area on your map. This gives you much more of an incentive to collect them than in the other games where they very slowly increased the size of your energy meter. However, it also forces you to go through the repetitive process of taking down enemy outposts to reveal part of the map, something developers tend to do when they want to stretch the durability of a game. Ubisoft. While Infamous 2 made moving around less tedious by increasing the speed at which you can climb and giving you ways to quickly access rooftops, it never made you feel as powerful as the air dashes and wall running of Second Son. You feel invincible. That is, until you start a fight. Most of your abilities are flashy but not as powerful as they seem. Enemies have massive amounts of health. I noticed it immediately as I recorded footage for this video and played all games in hard difficulty one after the other. I kept dying and dying and dying. Headshots are pretty much required in this one. The game is fun, the scenario is awesome, but I think I'm bad at it, and it makes me enjoy it less. I should probably have played it in easy mode instead, but then again, all these games were pretty challenging. Maybe I'm just more used to the first two. So, yeah, that's about it. I don't have much else to complain about. The series is not flawless, it could have used some more balancing, it has some good missions and some lame ones, but I accept its flaws. I'm aware of them, and I can absolutely enjoy the games despite them. So if you haven't played them, go try them out. Domino Pivot, US TV News.